Hey everyone, Mark here from TST Industries back in the garage, and behind me I have our all-new 3rd generation 2025 Yamaha YZF-R3, and on the table in front of me I have a wide array of front turn signal options. If you are interested in receiving a full comprehensive breakdown of all of our different turn signal options for this bike, including mounting adapters and wiring configurations, please be sure to check out our product feature where I break down all of our offerings. But this is an installation video, and in this video I will be guiding you through the installation process of our Mech-GTR LED front turn signals. This is a very straightforward installation process, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, to begin this installation process, we do need to remove the signal shrouds located here and on the right side of the bike. That means removing 3 push pin fasteners. There's one here, and then 2 on this face, one right in front of right beside the fork tube and the other closer to the rear. And then we also have 2 of these bolts located right here, which we can remove by using a 4mm hex bit, hex key, Allen key, or T-handle. So let's go ahead and do that now. In order to remove the push pins, you press down in the center, and then you can pry up, removing them from their holding feature. Just like that, we've removed all 3 fasteners. Now let's go ahead and remove these 2 bolts. Now, as you saw, I lifted up on this rearmost section and it actually freed the bodywork, or the shroud, from the bodywork. So that's actually how we are going to remove this panel. You'll pry upward gently from the rear and then follow it along, just like so. Once you get to this front portion and that is released, you will pull outward and it will come off of the bike. Now, it is important to note that in the center here, we have the right panel overlapping the left panel, and there's a friction fastener post located in the center that locks into the left side. So I'm gonna hop on over to the opposite side, remove that hardware and that panel, and then we will continue. Now we will follow the steps for loosening the shroud from the panels, like so. Voila. Now, as we start pulling towards the rear of the bike, you can see everything is coming undone. We will now separate these 2 panels, or the 2 shrouds, and carefully maneuver it out. And you can actually see here, at this point, you can see the post that I was referring to, the friction fastener post, and the grommet that it coincides with on the left side panel. Now, the only thing holding this shroud in place at this point is your turn signal wire and the connector. So we're gonna go ahead and disconnect this at this point. Just like that, this shroud is now freed from the bike. We'll repeat the steps on the opposite side. And if you're having issues with these connectors, they can be a little finicky and a little tough to release. I'm gonna show you a little hack here just in a second. Here we are. And on this side, it is important to note we actually have the signal connector and the auxiliary power connector for your USB charger. So if you have a small tool, like a small flathead or a small pick, you can actually carefully use this to unlock the turn signal connector. And what I did was I just gently pried this in between, lifting up on this center tab here. You lift in an upward fashion and that releases it from the opposite connector. Pressing down on it, sometimes it's just not enough force. Don't be afraid to use a small tool, but if you do, be very careful. And next we have this auxiliary connector. That one's pretty easy. You just press downward and then it frees itself. With OEM shrouds now removed from the motorcycle, let's go ahead and hop on over to our work surface and begin the disassembly of your OEM turn signals. Now, in order to remove your OEM turn signals from the shrouds, if you're familiar with Yamahas, this will not be a foreign process to you, but we have these rubber keepers that secure this plastic flat washer. If you pry outward on the rubber grommets, you can actually remove the hard plastic washer. And at this point, all you do is gently pry outward and your signal comes completely out of the shroud. Carefully route the wires out and voila. Now again, to repeat that step, locate the signal wire. We have this shroud or this rubber grommet located here. We're going to pull outward, and while doing that, remove the rubber or the hard plastic washer from the rubber grommet, like so. And now with your signal in hand, you can just gently pry outward and the signal pops right out. Carefully route the wires out. And now we are ready to install our TST turn signals. Now with our Mech-GTR LED front turn signals in hand, we have a full unboxing here. We're going to remove the twist ties, get our signals ready for installation. And I went over this in our product feature, which I highly recommend you all watching this. If you're pre-purchase, if you're watching this in anticipation of receiving your products, that's one thing. If you're watching this for information before making a purchase, I would recommend watching our product feature first to get a full understanding of what our signal offerings do. But if you are in the North American market, you will have an OEM running light function on your front turn signals. That means these signals will be completely plug and play and feature a running light. If you do not live within North America and you're an international customer, you more than likely have a 2-wire setup on your front turn signals, meaning you do not have a running light function. These signals can still work on your bike, but you need to purchase the international kit, which would require you to splice into a constant power source. Again, all this is covered in our product feature, so watch that. Just want to give you a few tips before we proceed. Now with our signal in hand and all the cables freed, we can focus on actually installing it onto the OEM shroud. First, we will grab our running light module and we will invert this wire through the channel like so. Give it a nice tug, ensure that you are fully seated in that channel. Next, we will grab our turn signal housing. And what you're gonna do is route the wires from the signal body through that same channel on the running light module. Sometimes it's a little tricky depending on how much surface area you have. Okay, so just like that, you'll have 2 wires fed through that channel. And now we will gently press down on the running light module and seat it fully onto the base of the Mech-GTR turn signal. Now we will connect the black connectors, and you want to hear an audible click, meaning they are seated and locked fully. Now we can actually go ahead and grab this spacer that we include in this kit. This is an optional piece if you're okay with your signal sitting more inboard. You don't have to use this spacer. For this purpose, I will be using this spacer. This will help stand the signal off further from the shroud, giving you more visibility on from the front facing angle. So we're gonna route this. There is a cutout side that will sit flush against the signal shroud. So the completely flat side should coincide with the surface of the turn signal. Just like so, it slides over the ratcheting stud portion of the body. And now we can go ahead and feed the wires through the shroud. Superimpose the signal in place. just like that. And now we will grab another optional piece, your rubber O-ring. I always like to use it. It provides some preloaded tension in the assembly. Gonna snake that through the wires and do the same for the ratcheting clip. And before I proceed, I'll give you guys a better viewing angle of what I'm actually doing here. So the rubber grommet I'm actually going to wrap around the body and the base of the turn signal, like so. And then the ratcheting piece only fits on one way, and we will gently press down, hearing those audible clicks, locking it in place. You can give it a nice wiggle, nice tug. You can see it is locked in place. Now we will take these wires and route them through this wire channel located on the shroud. Toss this one to the side. Let's repeat these steps on the opposite OEM signal shroud. We're gonna speed through this. Now we have our signals mounted onto the OEM signal shrouds, and we are ready to finalize the assembly portion of this process with our plug and play harness adapters. Now on these particular turn signals, there is no guesswork needed. You will simply match the colors. So we're gonna go red to red, brown to brown, and blue to blue. Once those are seated, you want to slip the rubber insulators over the connectors on both ends, like so, isolating the terminals and preventing contact with each other or other surrounding components that may potentially cause a short and blow a fuse. Just like that. In addition to the rubber insulators, I always recommend using some electrical tape as well. You can isolate them one by one, or you can isolate them one by one and then put them in a neat bundle. The choice is completely yours. I always recommend it just as an added preventative safety measure. Let's repeat that wiring configuration on the right side. Now at this point, we are ready to go ahead and put these shrouds back on the bike. So at this point, let's go ahead and reinstall them. With our signal shroud in place, we can now begin the reassembly process. And to begin, first we will reconnect the auxiliary plug we disconnected, and then we will reconnect our turn signal connector. When you're connecting these, you do want to hear an audible click, ensuring that the locking tab is engaged. Just like that. Now we can go ahead and route this shroud back into its native place. Now, it is important to note these hooked features should sit underneath this rubber cap for the mirrors, and the inner shroud should sit outside of this inner fairing from the side fairing. So let's go ahead and ensure that all of our wiring is nice and neat and slip this into place. Now I have done this about a dozen times now, so I'm very confident in what I'm doing. But if you're doing this and you're getting frustrated or you feel like something isn't sitting right, just pause, take a step back, reevaluate. You don't want to be cracking any of your fairings, any of the clips. So just take your time and don't get frustrated. Now, as you can see here, the holes are lining up perfectly with our fasteners. So what we can do at this point is push it all the way forward, ensuring it's seated in its proper geometry, and then just press down along this leading line, hearing clicks in 3 separate places. And just like that, this fairing is now seated correctly Now we can reinsert the 3 pushpin fasteners if you're not familiar with it. When we were removing these fasteners, we were pressing down in order to unlock them. Well, to reseat them, you will push in the opposite direction and then pull the inner pin out slightly so that it is protruding from the top. That is in its resetted position. And now we just insert and press, ensuring the head is flush. You're locked in. Repeat the steps for the other 2 pushpin rivets located on the inner face of this shroud. Again, I've done this about a dozen times, so it's pretty easy for me, but just take your time and you'll be all good to go. Now we can go ahead and grab the black button head bolts that we removed, and using our 4mm hex tool, we can go ahead and lock them into place. Now, once you are bottomed out, you want to go about another 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn, ensuring you are not over tightening it. And if you do over tighten it, be very careful. Once you start skipping threads, this fastener will no longer work as well as it did upon removal. So again, you just want to go bottom and then another 1/8 to 1/4 turn, and you are locked in. Now we can hop on over to the right side of our motorcycle. And the reason we started on the left side is because of the friction fastener post that goes into this grommet here. We acknowledged it during the disassembly process. It is located here, and that needs to slip into this grommet. So first, we will reconnect our turn signals. And I missed explaining a step doing the left side, but anytime you are reconnecting these and reseating body panels, you want to check your work before you finalize the installation. I've already put the hardware into that side, so before we finalize this side, let's go ahead and power the bike on. We have functioning running lights on both of our signals, and if I activate the signals, we have a functional turn signal set. So we know everything is connected properly. We will cancel the turn signals, power the machine down, and finalize this install. Now we do need to slip this post into this grommet, as I mentioned, and that can be a little tricky. So what I like to do is first get this shroud into place. And you can see here, if you don't actually get that friction fastener in place, if you push it forward, the shroud will pop backward. What I like to do to lock it into place while I'm finalizing this is I will line up the holes and then insert our bolt, tightening it down, ensuring that this shroud can't go anywhere without my permission. Once we're done with this, we can hop on over to the left side of the bike, and using your hands, you can locate the grommet and the post, and then you want to do a motion like this, clamping down the post into the grommet. Sometimes it takes a little finessing. Just be patient, work it into itself. And now you are seated properly. We can finalize this install. First, we will push this shroud into its proper place, slipping all of the clips into place, and then finalizing it with our pushpin rivets. And just like that, this installation is now complete. And there you have it. As you can see, we have successfully uninstalled our OEM floppy Yamaha turn signals for something unique, our TST exclusive Mech-GTR turn signals with aggressive styling and an accent running light color of your choice. In this case, we went with white, and of course, the super bright amber turn signal light. Best of all, they were completely plug and play, and with the help of this installation video, we hope that we have instilled the confidence in you to do this installation on your own and become more familiar with your machine. So if you're ready to hit that buy now button, you want to see what other products we have available for the 3rd generation 2025 and up Yamaha R3, or any other bike that may be in your garage, please be sure to visit our website, tstindustries.com. The link to these signals can be found in the description below. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. That lets us know that we are effectively delivering our message and guiding you through these pesky installations that a dealership would normally charge you for. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on to stay up to date with all the new and exciting videos we have coming out for the R3 and plenty of other models that are making their way into our garage. And of course, we always recommend following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all username TST Industries. For now, this has been Mark in the TST Garage. I thank you all for watching. I hope you ride safe, and we'll catch you next time.